She called my $15,000 ring cheap and said I'd never match her lifestyle. 4 days later, she was crying on the phone, begging me for $4,000. I just reminded her, you chose luxury over love. Now pay for it. 3 years. That's how long Sarah and I had been together. And honestly, I thought we were solid. We met during a conference in Denver, both of us working in tech, both career-driven, both ambitious. What started as drinks at the hotel bar turned into weekend hikes, shared playlists, and a mutual obsession with board games and Thai food. Over the years, we had our ups and downs, like any couple, but I genuinely believed we were building something real, something lasting. So, for our 3-year anniversary, I wanted to do something meaningful, something that showed her I was thinking long-term. I spent months researching jewelers, sketching ideas, and speaking with a designer who specialized in custom pieces. I wanted it to be personal, not some flashy, cookie-cutter ring from a mall display case. It ended up costing $15,000, way more than I'd ever spent on anything besides my car in college. But I didn't hesitate. It wasn't just a ring. It was a symbol of everything we'd built together and everything I hoped we'd continue building. The plan was simple: lunch at our favorite cafe downtown, and then I'd surprise her with the ring. No public proposal, no awkward scenes, just an intimate moment between us. I still remember her face when I handed her the box. Not excitement, not surprise, not even curiosity. She opened it slowly, looked at the ring for maybe half a second, and then laughed. Straight up laughed. "This looks cheap," she said, inspecting it like it was something from a vending machine. "This doesn't really match my lifestyle, Alex. I mean, you know how I live." I blinked. "What are you talking about? I spent months working on this." She shook her head, not even pretending to hide her disappointment. "It's not about the effort. I'm just being honest. I need someone who understands the kind of life I'm aiming for. Luxury vacations, the kind of jewelry you see in magazines, not this." That's when I asked her, trying to keep my voice steady, "Do you even love me?" She stared at me for a moment, silent, then shrugged. "I don't know, you're sweet, Alex. But maybe you're just not enough for what I want." I wish I could say I yelled, or stormed out, or caused a scene, but I didn't. I sat there, nodding slowly, letting her words sink in. Not enough. For 3 years, I supported her, helped her build her brand, stayed up with her during all-night panic attacks, showed up when others bailed, gave her everything I had. But it wasn't enough, because I wasn't flashy enough. I quietly picked up the ring box, closed it, and slipped it into my jacket pocket. "Thanks for the honesty," I said, then stood up, left some cash for the coffee we didn't finish, and walked out of that cafe without another word. The strangest part? I didn't feel angry. I didn't even feel sad. I just felt done. It was like the spell broke. The illusion cracked. I finally saw her clearly, and realized I had been in love with someone who only loved the idea of me. The comfort, the safety, the attention, but not me. 4 days later, I got a call from her, and that's where things took a turn I honestly didn't see coming. For days went by without a word. No texts, no calls, no sorry, or "I didn't mean it." Nothing. I figured that was it. The end of 3 years, wrapped up over a $15,000 ring and a brutally honest moment at a coffee shop. I'd already started boxing up the stuff she left at my apartment. Hair ties in the bathroom drawer, her favorite hoodie she stole from me, even the mug she used every morning that said, "Rise and slay." I wasn't angry, just ready to move on. Closure sometimes comes not with drama, but with clarity, and I had mine. Then, on the 4th night, right around 10:30 p.m., my phone lit up. "Sarah." I stared at the screen for a second before picking up. I didn't know what I was expecting, an apology maybe, or another condescending lecture about how I wasn't ambitious enough for her vision board life. Instead, I was greeted by the sound of her crying. "Alex." Her voice was soft. "Can you talk?" I paused. "What's going on?" There was silence for a beat, then she exhaled. "I messed up. I know I did." I didn't say anything. "I've just been thinking," she continued, "about everything. What I said, how I said it. You didn't deserve that. You've always been good to me." Still, I stayed quiet. I wasn't ready to make this easier for her. "I miss you," she whispered. "Like really miss you. The way you listen, the way you show up. No one else has ever made me feel safe like that." It was a strange thing to hear, almost surreal. I panicked. I thought I needed more, something bigger. "But since you left, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. About you." Her words hung in the air. "Why are you calling me now?" I finally asked. She hesitated. "Because I want to fix things." I waited. "And," she added, voice cracking a bit, "I need your help." There it was. "I've had a rough few days. Things with my credit cards are bad. I missed a payment, and now I'm completely maxed. I'm behind on rent. I'm trying to figure it all out, but..." I closed my eyes. It was like a switch flipped. The tears, the soft voice, the sudden regret. It wasn't just heartbreak. It was convenience. She wasn't calling out of love. She was calling out of desperation. I wouldn't ask if I wasn't in a bad place, she said quickly, sensing my silence. It's just a loan. Just $4,000 to help me get back on track. I'll pay you back. I promise. For a second, I almost felt bad. Almost. But then I remembered that look she gave me in the cafe. That dismissive laugh. The way she made me feel like nothing I did would ever be good enough. Like I would never be good enough. I'm sorry, Sarah, I said, keeping my tone calm. But I don't think I'm the person you should be calling. She went quiet. Please, she whispered again. I'm drowning here. I love you, Alex. You're the only man in my life who ever really cared. It would have been easy to believe her if I hadn't heard those same lips tell me I wasn't enough just 4 days ago. And that brings us to the final part of this story, what I said next. Her voice cracked through the line again. Please, Alex. I wouldn't ask if I wasn't desperate. I'll pay you back. You know I will. It was quiet on my end. I was sitting at my kitchen table, staring at the half-packed box of her things next to me. Photos, a hoodie, a copy of Atomic Habits she never actually read. That same copy had a sticky note inside. This year is our year. I remembered reading that note a few months back and smiling like an idiot. Like we were in this together. But now, she was asking for a $4,000 bailout, 4 days after telling me I wasn't good enough to match her luxury lifestyle. It would have been funny if it didn't feel so personal. I finally said, slowly, you said I wasn't enough for your lifestyle. Remember? Silence. You said the ring I spent months designing, the one I poured 15 grand into, looked cheap, and that I didn't match your vision. So I walked away. Her voice came back, small. I didn't mean it like that. I was stressed. I wasn't thinking clearly. You caught me off guard. I've never had anyone do something that meaningful for me, and I just freaked out. I shook my head, even though she couldn't see it. No, Sarah, you meant it. You meant every word. And you were honest. I'll give you that. You were just honest too late. Because now you want help. From someone who, according to you, didn't fit the life you actually wanted. Her breath hitched a bit. She didn't say anything. I kept going, not angry, just done. You told me I wasn't enough. And maybe you were right. I wasn't enough for the version of you that needed designer bags and luxury retreats to feel whole. But I was enough for the version of you that wanted love. And you let that go. Alex, please, she whispered again. I love you. I took a deep breath and said it calmly, clearly. I'm not your ATM, Sarah. I never was. And I'm definitely not the guy you get to humiliate and then call when your cards are maxed out. She didn't respond. I hope you figure things out, I said. Really? But this? Us. That door's closed. The line was quiet for a few seconds. Then she hung up. No goodbye. No last word. Just silence. And honestly, it felt right. It's been a few months since that call. She never tried to contact me again, not even a text. I haven't heard from her through mutual friends either. I assume she figured out her financial mess or leaned on someone else. Either way, I stopped keeping track. I got the ring melted down and turned it into a watch. A reminder, not of her, but of what I deserve. Commitment, honesty, not status games. Looking back, I'm glad she showed me who she really was. It saved me years of trying to be enough for someone who never really saw me. So yeah, that's the story. She laughed at my $15,000 ring, and 4 days later begged me for $4,000 to cover her lifestyle. I didn't give her a cent. Not out of spite, but because I finally understood my own value.